Hello, everybody, and welcome to my 100th video on this channel, including shorts and all that stuff. Today, what better way of having a 100th episode by taking a closer look at the G.I.Joe classified line killer end of classified. A lot of people say this is the end of classified, but honestly, we'll get to it. I mean, I haven't opened it, so I don't know what we're gonna expect. But I mean, I guess I could show off the box art, which I like. A lot of people complained about this wave's art package. I think it's fine. We have a cool art of Falcon here at the front, cross-armed, looking very serious there. And I'll mention the art again once we get to the figure review, but there he is on the side, parachuting down in the night sky. Yeah, I think the art is pretty cool with this guy. There's the accessories and stuff, and yeah, he doesn't look so bad in the digital renders, but well, let's see. Let's open this up. Let's see what we're dealing with. Let's see what all the fuzz is about. And there we go. Typical windowless packaging boxes. There he is, and the accessory box. So let me get him out of his prison and we'll take a close look at him. So real quick, just got the accessories out, but I saw a video on a channel where they had the bright idea of using these boxes as storage for your figures if they can fit in there. I think some of them are wider than others, but you can kind of fit in there, and obviously you can put all of the accessories back in there, but just thought I would show that off as an option to storing away figures and not just throw this out into the trash. But anyway, onto the accessories of the figure. Alright, so here we have the accessories for this guy. We don't get too much, but I think it's fair for the character. We'll take a close look at his beret first. And, I mean, for the most part, it's sculpted well. I don't know if it's reused from another one. I forgot to check from one of the other figures we have. So let me take a quick look at that. Alright, so taking a close look here at the different berets we have gotten. I think this is another original sculpt, or at least tweaked a little bit, just because I don't see the same sculpt going across these different ones. As you can see there, this one has this prominent curve there where these don't. So I'm surprised they haven't just reused some of these previous ones, but then again, maybe his head sculpt made them sort of retool it and make a new sort of sculpt for him. But anyway, moving on, we have his backpack, which I love. It's very blocky and heavy, as you will probably hear. Yeah, so pretty blocky thing. And I love that the canteens here are actually painted, and the rope itself. We have his antenna, which I don't know if it's removable. I don't want to mess with that and break it. But yeah, there it is. Very nice detailing, and it very much resembles the vintage counterpart. I have him here, as you can see. Very exactly the same. We have the rope, the two canteens, the knife sheath storage there, and the antenna on this guy. So very faithful to the retro or vintage figure. We then have his knife, which has nice serrations on this side, and it is actually painted silver, which I appreciate, and a very sort of gray plastic for the handle, and I believe it's also very similar. It is similar to the vintage knife in terms of design and the different serrations it has, so that is appreciated once more. We then have his shotgun, which is not like the vintage one, but it does have a nice feature. It folds up and like that. It doesn't really stay there, so it's a bit unfortunate, but it does extend out, and this moves. It is kind of loose, as you can see there, but it doesn't really bother me. Has some nice brown here for the pump, and it's just in this gray plastic. It looks nice. I like the shotgun. I appreciate the extra little green here for, what would that be, extra bullets. But just compared to the original, this one had some sort of weird grip thing that just sticks out like that. But yeah, very different and more, well, I don't know. But yeah, those are the accessories that we get with Falcon onto the figure itself. Oh boy. Is it a terrible figure? I don't think so. I think having it in hand is a bit different from just seeing it in pictures and all that stuff. The initial pictures made him look extremely weird. The first few pictures of somebody who had the figure in hand, and I was very skeptical, and I still was when people would post pictures of the figure, but I think it's not too bad. At least mine has pretty decent paint application for his lips and his eyes, as you can see there, so he doesn't look half bad, at least in my eyes. It also depends like which way he's facing. You know, that looks kind of weird. But straight on, it doesn't look half bad. Let's see a side shot. I think everything comes down to angles and which way you see him from. But I don't think... I'm not disliking it, or I'm not liking it either, but I don't think it's too bad. At least in my opinion. I don't know, you guys can comment down below, but I think depending where you're seeing it from, it does look a bit odd. But I think the lips do kind of distract you a bit. So I don't know, maybe I'll go in and remove the lip paint and then maybe see how that looks. A lot of people, or I've seen some custom 3D hands already, but I'm not a painter myself. So I wouldn't know how to go about in painting the head sculpt, but for now, it doesn't bother me. I think it looks fine. But that is just me. A lot of people hate it and they've done their own thing, which is fine, but I'm not that big of a customizer or painter, so I don't want to risk, you know, messing up on something like painting a new head and whatnot. So with this guy, we get a lot of reuse, essentially. It's the same body mold that we saw with Recondo, just, you know, obviously painted for his colors, which closely resemble the vintage counterpart here. Of course, this is a lot more brighter green, and the black camo is more prominent, which is a shame here because it does kind of just disappear or vanish with the dark green. So a bit lighter green would have been nice, but this whole new rig system here is brand new, and once again we get that sort of shirt going under this what is it, sort of a vest thing going under it, so that's pretty nice. But articulation wise, he is on a dumbbell joint, so he can look up about that much, which is pretty decent, and down that much. He does have some nice head pivoting. His arms go out about that much. He does have butterfly joints, which don't really go forward or back all that much. He has the bicep swivel there, and then we have double jointed arms, very nice. Both trigger hands go vertically up and down. He does crunch forward, and you'll get that weird sort of loose vest there. But that's pretty good crunch. And back, pretty good as well. Good waist rotation in there. He can kick up, he does have upper thigh cut. He has double jointed knees, very tight leg joints all throughout, just like I had with Recondo here. Very tight knees. The boot swivel is pretty fine there. And the boots, surprisingly enough, aren't as tight as Recondo's. I mean, they still kind of are. You can see me struggling to move them, but pretty decent. It's not as tight as Recondo, so I like that. And no hip joint wear yet. So, all in all, I think he looks fine from certain angles, depending where you see him from. For example, there it looks odd. Here, not so much. So yeah, I think I can deal with it. But I do have some extra heads that I wanted to see if they could fit, or just overall some things that I saw on the internet. Alright, so this is one recommendation I saw someone do. It is a Peter Parker head sculpt from Marvel Legends from the Renew Your Vows 2-pack. And I think that looks pretty good. The skin tone doesn't match, but I mean, yeah, you can't do much about that. And his head doesn't really plug in. You would have to fill that in and then just to make it fit there. But that is an option for you customizers. I thought I have a plain clone head sculpt, but I think that would look too small on the neck. Like his neck would be as wide as his head. So probably not a very good option. But that's about it. I've seen some people do Dusty's head, removing the face camo and the sort of lip paint, and it looks like a completely different character. But I know my mind works in certain ways where it's like, it's gonna know it's a Dusty head, and it's just gonna think it's Dusty in another outfit. So I would do it, but my mind works that way, and therefore I'm not gonna go ahead and do that. But like I said, I'm completely fine with this head for now. It doesn't really bother me. It's doable. I think another thing that frustrates me is this handkerchief. It just like sits there. It doesn't really, I don't know, it's odd because it goes over the collar here and it's weird. It just flings out all over the place, and I just don't feel like it sits correctly. Like, it's weird that it's sitting here and it goes over the collar, and it's very weird. But I don't know, you can manage with it, you know. So there that is. A vintage and classified comparison. And I think they got everything pretty well in terms of details. You get that knife, which is not removable. I don't know when Hasbro's gonna learn to stop doing sculpted, unremovable knives. But yeah, pouches and stuff. I mean, even the boots are kind of similar, as you can see. So yeah, I don't know, I like the figure. I'm not too bothered by the head sculpt. This is not the end of classified. This is oh man, the YouTubers just wanting to clickbait their titles. Oh, here's something interesting. It's a very tight fit for his beret. See how that looks with the beret. Not too. I think the beret makes it look a bit worse, but it's not too bad. I don't know. It's a face sculpt that you're either fine with it or you're not. I am like on the line. I hate it, but I don't hate it. So I don't know. For now, it works for me. It looks fine. I would just say that. He looks fine for now. Maybe I'll eventually buy another head. But yeah, he's not too bad. That's my final consensus. He is not too bad. I'll show you the knife storage here. That should go in there very nicely, and he should be able to hold his shotgun very nicely. Alright, so let me get him into a pose and try to give out my final thoughts on this guy. And as a quick comparison and small detail to Falcon's character, which I forgot to mention throughout this whole video, here he is next to Duke, who is his older half-brother. They share the same mother, I think, is what they sort of mention in the G.I.Joe movie. Duke calls or says that their mother would be disappointed. So yeah, I think they share the same mother and not the same father. But yeah, there's that comparison. They look great together, I think. But you can certainly see how his head is much larger, and he is a bit taller with that beret on him. But yeah, quick little comparison. I forgot to sort of record while I was doing all this. Yeah, because obviously the main focus is his head, and I got too focused on that. But anyway, thought I would throw this in last minute. So my final consensus, or I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Final thoughts. I don't think he's as bad as people made him out to be. Obviously, there will still be people who are gonna not like it, and everyone is, entitled to their own perspective, opinion, whatever you want to call it. I think he's a fine figure, maybe not the look that we wanted for his head sculpt. I mean, I did say I was gonna mention something to the art package, so let me get him out of the way. And him, I think if they could have done something more of this sort of head sculpt of this nature, it would have been better. I don't know, I just think this head that the artist sort of depicts here is better than this, but I can live with this. He more than likely will be in the back of the Joes or something. One thing to note, his little thing here for the shotgun is on this weird, like a little, I don't know what you call it, but it basically just connects here. And yeah, it's very easy to remove, so that's kind of a bummer. It's very loose, but he isn't that bad of a figure as I initially thought it would be. I think once you get it in hand, you kind of change your mind on it. But yeah, he isn't all that bad, at least in my opinion. People can hate on me for saying that, but yeah, having it in hand is a bit different, and I've seen others with way worse paint applications, so I'm glad mine came in with pretty decent paint applications. But yeah, it also depends on what angle you see him from. So for example, there he doesn't look too bad, or there. So yeah, it all comes down to your own personal thoughts, feelings on the head sculpt and all that stuff. He's not my, favorite Joe. I know a lot of people like this character, but to me, it's just another character to add, and I'm glad to have him. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. Leave your comments down below. Have you gotten him? Are you fine with the head sculpt? I know a lot of people are gonna wait for him to go on sale. That's fine too. You do you. I'm fine with it for now. I'm not too bothered. Those are my final thoughts on the figure. G.I. Joe Classified isn't dead yet, just because of one bad face sculpt. I mean, every now and then we gotta get some terrible face sculpts, don't we? Not every single figure can be a top quality head sculpt. I mean, Flint himself, I thought had a pretty, not the greatest head sculpt. I mean, now I can manage with it. Just to show you guys what I'm talking about, here he is with Flint, one of his other beret friends. So there they are. I never really liked his head sculpt either, And once I modified his vest and took off all of his horrendous armor he had here, I appreciate it more. It looks better. But yeah, that simple change made me appreciate the head sculpt a bit better. Maybe because the amount of stuff he had here made him seem bulky and the head seemed kind of small, but now he looks fine. Another head sculpt a lot of people didn't like was Stalker, which I thought was a phenomenal head sculpt. I still think it is. Such a great head sculpt, so I don't know where people were coming from when it came to Stalker. But Falcon is fine for now. And it's not like, oh, well, you bought the figure and now you must, like, cope with your purchase. And that is not necessarily the case. I have this trooper here, Shore Trooper from the Andor show. Absolutely do not like this thing. Even though it's no different in terms of mold to the regular Shore Trooper we had, I just really hate this thing. But I still have it. Because, I mean, I might as well just keep it. I mean, I bought it. I can always resell it, but, I mean, it adds something to the shelf at least. But I do not like this thing. And Falcon, I have no issues with. I can deal with it. He looks fine to me. And like I said, I think once you have it in person, it's a completely different story. But he looks fine to me. And I'll leave it at that. I'm not bothered by it. He's a great addition. Wait for the sale on him. Whatever you want. I'm fine with my purchase. That's all I have to say. Not the end of G.I.Joe Classified. We'll get every now and then terrible head sculpts, but that's just the way action figures go. Anyway, that's gonna do it for my review. Probably been rambling on. Probably a long video by now. But I just had to express myself and what I think of the figure. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys found this informative. If you guys did, comment down below what you think of the figure yourself. And like, share, and all that stuff. I'll see you guys in a future video. Thank you guys for sticking around. We're now at 100 videos on this channel. Slowly getting to 300 subscribers. Thank you all, and I'll see you guys next time.